Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, how's it going? Good? Alright. Alright, well I've taken a break and let's see what we got here today. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to zip right through this project. We're going to take a little off the nose here, shape the nose up a little bit. Remember, you want to keep the end of your nose, has like a flange here, where you flare out your nostrils. So you want to keep that wider there, but you can narrow the rest of the nose. It's not a big deal. This is really easy to do. I mean, one of these wood spirits, you can knock them out pretty fast after you've done a couple of them. And, if you care to. Now, some people like to whittle on them for days. That's just not my style. Now we're going to take the cheeks here and go into this groove under the cheeks. Going to carve that down some because you want the mustache to be raised up above the cheeks where they meet the mustache, although the cheeks will protrude from the face. And we're going to put a little carving here, a little curve like I talked about earlier. Put a little curve right here on the side. That really, your face is not flat. A lot of people want to carve the flat face, and that's a mistake that a lot of beginners make, and it's easy to understand, but you're not making a picture, you're making a carving. So we're going to carve that down on the sides a little bit, like that there. Ooh, that is beautiful. And we're going to carve this down. Make sure those cheeks get down there below the mustache level. And when you're carving on a vise like this one, make sure that if you're holding, you should always hold the chisel with both hands, right? And sometimes when you're pushing down, you may slip and go pow right onto the metal there. Try to avoid that because you don't want to put a ding in your chisel or your gouge any more often than you have to, because that means you got to go back to the sharpener and take off a little bit more metal, and that gouge that cost you $45 or $50 gets smaller and smaller every time you do that. Not a lot, but a little bit. I'm going to keep these for years, and if you take care of them, you can keep them for years, and they can become actually an heirloom that you can hand down to your kids and grandkids, and they can say, that was Grandpa's chisel. Oh, Lord. Yep. Okay. Alright. Most of them will probably sell them on eBay, though, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to start carving this forehead back. Now, a lot of people want to focus in one area and carve that area. I'm not one of those carvers. I like to spread my work out through the whole carving. Spread it out through the whole piece so I can see the whole piece developing rather than just one section. And it just works better for me. Some people like to finish up the mouth or the nose before they go on to something else, but I just think that's just not my style. And I don't really recommend it either, because by the time you've got a nose perfect and then you're going to work on the rest of the face, well, that face is going to tell you what that nose should look like. So try not to focus on one little corner, one little spot too much. Spread that carving out around the whole sculpture. Spend your time working the whole thing around, and it'll all develop together the same way, and you'll be just as happy as a clam. That's right. You like clams, don't you? I tell you what, we got plenty of down here in Florida. We got oysters. We had some Apalachicola Bay oysters the other night. And I mean to tell you, they were fantastic. Salty. Woo! They almost made me choke. They were so salty. And I love them that way. With a little cocktail sauce on a saltine cracker. That was mighty fine, I'll tell you what. Okay, I'm going to carve this forehead a little further back. You know, your forehead is not flat. A lot of people, they want to carve those flat foreheads, and I'm as guilty as anybody, but let's carve that forehead back a little bit. And when you carve that back, you got to take his hairline down a little bit, unless you want him to have a real combed over look. But this is a wild man. Now he's a wood spirit. You got to maintain that look, where people will talk about him and say, "Man, did you see that wood spirit with the nice hairdo? That didn't make any sense." Yeah, he wasn't rustic looking. You got to have him rustic looking. People like that. It works very well, this kind of product. Now look at this. You can't see it from the videotape, but